Welcome to a Wednesday. Hope you're having a good day. Hope you got some sleep last night, right? We have some wind out there. We have a red flag warning. We have a wind advisory. They stay in effect through Thursday. Temperatures on the mild side. Fire danger definitely elevated. Wind, we got tree branches coming down. It's windy. I mean, we've got gusts. We had a gust. Well, here we go. These are the gusts from the National Weather Service. Just some samples, but 75 miles an hour up on Mount St. Helena. So extreme winds, really very much typical for this time of year. It's a little stronger event than normal, but this kind of offshore wind event is about what you see in the fall. That's why fire danger is so high. That's why there's a red flag warning. But I'd like to say that it would be nice to have levels of red flag warnings because, as you know, and the CAL FIRE knows, because of those recent rains, this red flag warning not equivalent to the last red flag warning we had. I can't remember the last one actually, but in other words, they vary. The fuel moisture is everything. It's like issuing flood warnings without taking into consideration soil saturation, right? It's been dry, and or mudslides. In other words, there's a lot of factors that go into creating a super high fire danger. Fire danger high, no doubt. But much different than if we hadn't had rain. So these are the current wind speeds. And I like this page because, well, here we go, 49 mile an hour gust out in San Ramon. And that line, see the dot? The dot is essentially the tip of the arrow, which is counterintuitive. You think in the flag going into it. So that direction is a northeast wind. The two lines on the back, each one of those long lines is 10 knots. The short one is 5 knots. So that's 25 knots sustained. And then the red is your wind gust to 49 miles an hour. We can go down to a little less wind down in San Jose. Not as much wind here. I'm picking and choosing right now. Up on the other side of Mount Diablo, out by Clayton, you've got 25 mile an hour gusts, sustained winds at about 5 knots. So the winds should be working their way down a little bit. Let me come up a little bit here and see what we got. Let's go here. Sorry, I'm not moving so smoothly through all this. Oops, I want to get rid of that. Okay, and then Fairfield, gusts to 38, northeast wind, 24 mile an hour wind speed. That's the current wind. So I mean, come on, it's just windy. That's how this goes. And the winds will continue throughout the day today into this afternoon, but they should be dying down as that pressure gradient relaxes. We'll see that coming up in the computer model. Just a beautiful shot. It costs a lot to live here, and there's a reason, you guys. It's awesome. Golden Gate Bridge. I don't know if this might not show up, but that's Mount Tam right there. Angel Island and Alcatraz Island and the beautiful park. And then we can go to Marin County, and we can watch the sun come up. Because I work late, I don't see a lot of sunrises. And then you'll see the sun kind of hit the water, and then you'll see the ripples from the wind. Not an ounce of fog. You can't really get fog to form in this pattern. Next couple of days are going to be nice. These winds are going to die down in the next, probably in the next about 4 hours or so. There's good swell along the coast. It's not as big as it was. It was big, like 10, 12 foot. But Ocean Beach Live, you see the lifeguard right here. That's probably Sean, who's a good friend. He's like, I think we're almost the exact same age, but you probably know Sean if you've ever been out to Ocean Beach. But he is posted up here. Why do you think? Because of rip current. There is a rip current right here. I don't know if you can pick that up, but see that flattened area? See where it breaks on both sides? The rip's right there. And it's a good rip because the tide's beefy, the tide's going out, the waves are coming in, and you create this flow. So he knows darn straight that's a nasty rip right there. Like if I was surfing right now, which I'm not, which I should be, but I'd paddle out. Where would I go? I'd go right here, and I'd start paddling. Look at that, hair dry, totally dry hair. Bill Martin is out in the lineup. Not that fast, but you can see, right? You see the path, and the water's pulling you, and you're in deeper channel water. But if you're swimming without a wetsuit on, that's a different deal. That's a different deal. So you want to make sure that you know how to. I wouldn't go out. I wouldn't swim on a day like that. Absolutely, and that's why Sean and those guys are posted up down there. This is, let's see if I can get this to play for us here. I don't know. Let's see. It's not playing. Okay, well, this is Lindenmore. Let's go back to Ocean Beach. I wanted to point out red tide. So there is a bit of a red tide. I took these pictures last weekend, and I was up in the Marin Headlands, and you see the line, the red, the darker color. That's a red tide, and that's being, it's being pulled around. You can kind of see the line between where the red tide or the algae area is and the area where the algae is not. Dinoflagellate. I hope I say it right. Dinoflagellate. That's the red tide. It's basically an algae bloom. Not very predictable. You can get bioluminescence, certainly down in San Diego. And there's no way to really currently monitor it, and they usually last sometimes 1 to 2 months. And the reason for the red tides is you get sort of upwelling relaxed, which is going to change because this wind is going to create more upwelling, I would suspect. And so upwelling being a turbulence, a shear in the water column, which flushes the phytoplankton and doesn't allow it to form as easily, my understanding. And I'm not a genius on this stuff, but I've been around it. And a lot of people won't surf on a red tide. It depends if it's good, I will. But I do kind of go, and there's no real straightforward health effects from a red tide. But there are anecdotal examples of the microbial health concerns that can occur because there's a lot of this stuff kind of gets in the air. Think about all the algae and all the, and again, I'm not a biologist, but you just think about all that. And so the microbes apparently can have an impact on folks. So that's what the red tide is about. And those pictures basically representing kind of what's going on out there right now. There's been a pretty good red tide in Santa Cruz, a little bit of one in San Diego as well. So here is the red flag warning. It's in effect through tonight and into Thursday morning, but I suspect by this afternoon the red flag warning dies down. Here's the red flag warning again, and you see it all the way down into Southern California, and you see it all the way right down to Southern California. They're having an extreme event. Their wind speeds down there could be more aggressive than our wind speeds in terms of gusts. And again, they're not as their fuel moistures are not as they're drier than ours, so there's probably more concern down there. One of the things we can do, let's do this. Let's go back here. I was just thinking about this. Let's go down to LA and see what their numbers look like. This is the surface map. I hadn't looked at their numbers today. So if we go, 41 mile an hour. Look at the red numbers. See if I can find some for you. 31 miles an hour up at Idlewild, 49 miles an hour right here at I'm not sure where that area is. Beaumont is, near 50 miles an hour. So those winds are really going to ramp up for those folks tonight. So we'll keep an eye on Southern California as well. One of the things I wanted to point out was remember we talked about, this is surface map. This is isotherms, not isotherms, God, sorry, first cup of coffee. These are isobars and then the rainfall. And what we're going to look at first is see how they're corduroy, see how close they are together. That's wind. This is wind too, right? So that when they're lined up like that, you're like, ooh, it's windy all in here. Not as windy here because they're farther apart, right? When they bunch up like that, whoa, watch out. And that's where we are. Now watch what happens as we go through the next couple of hours. You see Southern California, see how it tightens up a little, and now it's starting to loosen up. And then it kind of keeps going up around Reno, and then see how the isotherms spread out. So that is into tomorrow morning. And then what I wanted to point out here is now the rain has a chance. This is on, let me make sure I know which day that is. That's on Saturday night, Sunday morning. And then this is Monday. And that looks pretty good for some real rain, right? So we'll keep our eyes on that. In the meantime, we've got I got a couple cool pictures that I can pop in here in the 5-day forecast. Look for temperatures the next couple of days to stay about the same. Overnight lows will get cooler when these winds die down. I think that's about it. Covered a lot. Maybe too long, maybe too short. Again, I really do appreciate you guys watching, and I do love because I don't know what you need. I know what I need, right? I need a cup of coffee and I need to look at these maps every day. Like even if we weren't doing this, I would be doing this. It's what I do. I've been doing this for 35 years, and I love it, quite frankly. And I think you guys do too, or you wouldn't be paying attention. But again, my hope is that eventually you don't have to listen to my ass. You can just go to the GFS, pull up the sea level pressure map, or pull up the surface obs. And when there's a fire in your area or a toxic air quality, a burn off at the Chevron refinery, or a rain event or a wind event, you don't have to count on somebody who's not from here, who doesn't have a strong background in meteorology, telling you what they think, because you live here. Okay, I know that's my goal. Like, that would be, in a perfect world, you guys would all 5 of you guys would text me and go, Bill, I got it. I'm good. I don't need to listen to somebody talk to me on TV about what the weather is. That's my goal. Okay, take care.